Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to another early game legendary playbook. This is a series where we are going to play the first early few turns of each different faction to show you how to start out optimally when playing these factions. It's great for first timers who want to jump difficulties or just getting started with any of the factions in the game. As always, we're going to be doing this on Legendary with 40-minute battle timers. It's pretty much just middle of the pack settings for me. We're playing Sun Jian today, as you can see here. Sun Jian was a faction that I was pretty familiar with before this recent patch 1.3 that just came out earlier this week. So now it's kind of a stranger to me, because a lot got changed, and this will be a learning experience for us all. Well, I have played the early game part of Sun Jian for maybe 6 times since the patch, just to get a feel before doing this video. So we'll be putting that to the test to see how that 6 tests went. But anyways, so we have Sun Jian as our faction leader. He's this really cool looking general here. His start situation is given as normal. Many players have said that Sun Jian probably has the easiest start, which is probably true. It's very beginner friendly. You are very flexible in the beginning. You also have a lot of special characters. But if you look at Sun Jian himself, he's a sentinel. He has 2 bonuses here. 25% campaign movement range when starting friendly sea regions, and plus 10 morale when attacking. He actually also has another one. He has a wealthy family background, so he gets additional money per turn, a little bit more than the other factions. Previously we did the Ma Teng playbook and he had the poor family background, so that was a little penalty for him. His faction specialization resource is Heroism. This is a self-declaying resource. You gain it by fighting. More specifically, it's by inflicting casualties. The more casualties you inflict versus how much casualties you take, the more heroism you gain after each battle, and then every turn it drops. And the reward for heroism is higher satisfaction of all your characters, decreased recruitment cost, and decreased upkeep cost. It's quite powerful. It's a bar that goes from 0 to 200. Every 50 is level. At the highest level, you're saving, I think, close to maybe 16% recruitment and upkeep costs. A lot of satisfaction to keep your characters happy. The playstyle focus expansion, because heroism declays every turn, you want to be constantly trying to fight. And the good news is there's plenty of territory to fight, because a lot of Han Empire territory that you start surrounds you with, so you can fight them, kick over very easy battles to build up your heroism and keep it high. In terms of unique buildings and units, first of all, you have a mercenary captain retinue. This is basically a general replacement. It's not very useful because you are able to have a bunch of really nice generals when you play a Sun Jian's faction. And you have 3 mercenary units as your faction unique unit: an archer, an axeman, and a cavalry, a shock cavalry. These mercenary units, what's special about them is that the turn that you recruit them, they come fully replenished. So they make for excellent defensive force or surprise offensive force, because you could summon a full unit and it will be immediately full health rather than having to wait for mustering and replenishment. The downside is it's only 1 tier of units, if you notice. Usually when you have a single unique unit, let's say for the Liu Biao, you have E archers. You have a standard E archer and have a more upgraded E marksman that gets unlocked at level 6. Here, level 3, you get access to the archer. Level 1, you get access to the infantry. And level 5, you get access to the cavalry. But they're all tier 1 units. They're all medium weighted units. Your unique faction building is your mercenary outpost. It's a very weird building. It has to do with your mercenary captain, reduce the cost recruiting it. But one thing it does do, as you said here, is it increases income to commerce and replenishment. Income to commerce is a big deal for Sun Jian's faction. They have another unique building, quote unquote, is that they're Harbour Buildings, the one that comes with your settlement capital, ones that are resided on rivers, like say Jiangling, perhaps right here. This commandery right here that you start out fighting at have a harbour building. A tier 5, fully upgraded, it has a 25% faction-wide commerce boost built in. And that is huge because it's faction-wide. And that means each harbour building you capture, you get additional 25 multiplier in all your commanderies. So if you go heavy on commerce, which is great for Sun Jian because you start out in the south, so you start out next to all the tea, which makes your in-building that much better, you're going to have a really good economy. And if you focus on just building up the south, you have control of the best commanderies in the game. You have used the river as your natural boundary, which in the game doesn't really work out that way because the river is more of a highway for everyone to attack you wherever on the map. It's not really a barrier of deterrence. But anyways, you do start out with access to the south, and you're the only faction that really have this access. So it works out pretty well for you, Sun Jian. That's why many players think he's on easy difficulty. He also is one of the factions, I think the only one, where your heirs, your son and daughter, are all unique units who will come of age, unique characters. Sun Ce, your eldest son, Sun Quan, your second son, Sun Ren, your daughter. And most recently on this patch, we got Huang Gai's unique character, who's became a vanguard unit from a champion unit. A lot has changed in this patch, so there's a lot of things to take note. But let's jump in here, and we'll kick off this early game playbook. It's going to be a bit longer just because a lot of changes on the patch. So see you in the game. All right, we loaded up in here. Once again, we have a little mission debrief here. We don't need it. I'll debrief us. And we have a standard mission to beat the army in front of us. So let's see it. So this is a faction unique thing. We start out with the Jade Seal item. Let's first close that, center the map, and let's zoom out. So if you notice here, we start in enemy territory in the Han Empire. Our base is down here in the south. It's called Changsha. This is the Yangtze River. We're north of the river at the start. We start out next to a Han Empire settlement in Jiangling. Surrounding us, we have Liu Biao and his two vassals, Cai Mao and Huang Zu. And to the north, we have Yuan Shu, who starts the game friendly to us. Historically, Sun Jian's family has been working for Yuan Shu, who is a more renowned family. We are the capable fighters, and he's using us as generals. But our base of operation has always been in the south, and we've been managing the south for quite some time. When the coalition army, Yuan Shao's coalition army, 18 different factions formed together to attack Dongzhuo, Sun Jian was tasked as the vanguard unit and was very successful. But he was too successful, so Yuan Shu got jealous, and Yuan Shu cut off his supplies, just didn't give him supplies basically, and he was forced to retreat. And on his retreat, since he arrived at the capital first because he was a vanguard unit, the one that was burned down as the emperor went west, he discovered the Jade Imperial Seal. This is the official seal of the emperor, used to stamp government documents. It stands for the mandate of heaven. So in Chinese culture, whoever has the seal has the mandate of heaven. So he kept it for himself and started returning home with this, dreaming of bigger things for his family in the future. But news of him acquiring the seal has gotten out. So your early dilemma will surround this seal, and as people ask you for it because you're not quite strong enough yet. There are many ways to play this. Historically, if you follow the story, eventually you'll give the seal away for peace. But since we have the seal in this sandbox game, our playstyle will be revolved around keeping the seal, because a lot of tragedy happened for the Sun clan in the beginning of the story that we can totally prevent by playing it differently. So we saw the items we got. Pretty bad items, to be honest. This one you always get, and then you get a bunch of randoms. Usually you could get 3, maybe even 4 item, sometimes much better item, but it's okay. It's nice to start the game with bad items. That way we don't have to blame it on the items. The Jade Seal, if you look at it, very, very strong item. Plus 25 prestige. That's halfway there for the first level up from Noble to second Marquis. You get 8 satisfaction faction-wide for all your characters. That's why everyone starts out pissed off, because you have a lot of ways to improve satisfaction. As well as 6 morale when defending. Not very useful on an offensive character here. So what we're going to do, like usual, we look at the family tree. Sun Jian, he's 15, so 3 years away, 15 turns away from becoming your heir and become active. But Sun Jian is a vanguard character, not super fit to be heir. The bonus is just not there. Lady Wu, on the other hand, our faithful wife, mother of 3, is perfect for heir right now. So we're going to boost her as heir. We do this a lot with a lot of different factions, especially when you have a wife who is a commander. This enables her to use some of these items and still take over all these abilities, right? Only if the character is prime minister, only if the character is prime minister, heir of faction. So all these will be active on her. And she'll also get the authority points to give more satisfaction to all the other units. We can give her a ceremonial sword, still not at 100 authority, but she'll get there once she level up. Huang Gai, he's the biggest change here. He's the Unreadable Warrior. Now he has a unique model. He went from a champion to a vanguard. So you start out with cavalry instead of Ji militia. Big change. This army is actually much stronger in the beginning than it would have been in the game before. So you could potentially use Huang Gai for a lot of things. He's going to be fighting our first duel. So we're going to give him the wooden dog for some extra health. There's one thing to note. The game forgot to change his horse. The game needs to patch this. It's still beta patch right now, so understandable. He's now a vanguard. Shouldn't be a brown horse. Should be a red horse. Should give instinct stat instead of the brown horse that gives resolve stat. Spear is fine. He'll be doing the dueling, and his weapons choice is very limited. It's not the standard 4 weapon choice. You don't have the axe and the glaive. You only have ji and spear. So in this case, spear is quite good. Sun Jian, on the other hand, has great items. Ancient silver sword, his unique armor. He also have heavenly fire. This is one of the 4 legendary horses in the game. Very, very nice horse. So let's jump in here and fight this first fight. Usually we do a lot of diplomatic things before we do the first fight, because we want to keep your army at full strength to get the most diplomatic values here. But if we take a look, everybody hates you. If you look at quick deal, no one even wants to trade with you. No one wants to give you peace. All the non-aggression paths are maybes. Basically, no one likes you. And that's the way you start off the game. Yuan Shu likes you, but he's too far. Doesn't connect with your capital to conduct trade. So there's no deal there. So you don't really have to care much about casualties here. You could allow casualties, but you only want to limit it because you want to gain the most heroism points. We start out at tier 1 heroism here, so we're under 50 points. We have 40 points. At this tier 1, you lose heroism 1 a turn. You lose 5 satisfaction. But if you go to tier 2, which we're only 10 points away, you lose 2 a turn. So the higher tier you are, the more heroism you lose. The highest tier, you lose 8 heroism a turn. That's a huge. So if this is 200, this is 50 points. You're going to go down a level every 6 turns if you don't fight. But the bonus is really nice. Like I said, minus 16% upkeep cost, minus 20% recruitment cost, plus 20 satisfaction. It's huge. The bonus is great. And we can boost heroism very easily. This fight, if we fight cleanly, we get 16 points of heroism. So let's jump into this fight. And we said we had to fight it cleanly. I forgot to give him the little feather. Yeah, let's give it to him, even though he doesn't really need the satisfaction points. But the 3 morale is quite nice, so we'll take that. Let's jump in here and fight. Alright, so you can see their army, spear units. So, 1.3, another big difference. Spear units, when braced, if the general charges at the spear unit, they get dismounted until the next battle. Basically, your horse dies. That's huge. That's a big buff to Ji and spear infantry against generals. So don't charge your generals head on against the Ji infantry militia. Use your archers Use your cavalry to flank. Use your generals to flank. Okay, that's all I have to say. Let's jump in here. Alright, we loaded up in the battle here. Huang Gai has the ability that his armor gives him guerrilla deployment, so we can deploy him up front. This is fine, it's optional. You just get into the duel a little faster, but I can just keep him in the back. Doesn't really matter. Like I said, we can use our units in this fight. They can die, it's okay. It will speed up the fight. We don't want to lose. If we don't lose any men and kill all their men, it's 16 points of heroism. Otherwise, it's a little less going down, but it's good anyways. So let's start. Let's run our generals out, get that duel started, and we'll move our cavalry up. We'll move our archers up. We can even move our axemen up. Don't have to use it. You can still fight this general style like we always do. Matter of fact, you know, you probably want Huang Gai to kick off the duel. He has a morale reducing ability, so you could have Sun Jian fight the duel instead. He has a better weapon as well, but Huang Gai is fine. Huang Gai can handle this. He'll lose about, if we look at health, he'll lose about 7,000 health, I guess, in this fight, which is, it's okay. We'll show you why it's okay later, because we're not going to depend on them for doing anything. So Sun Jian's job, crash into the archers. Make sure don't slam into braced Ji militia. It will destroy your general. You'll lose your horse. You'll be stuck here and fighting the melee style, and your general's probably gonna die. So yeah, that also makes a lot of settlement defense battles a lot easier for the garrison. There's a arrow tower buff, and there is you know, the militia buff, so that's huge. Archers still suck. Archers still gonna die to your generals. Just ignore these guys, kill the archers. Have your cavalry nearby, but not within firing range of the archers, of course, and have them chase them down once they rout, because you want to kill everybody when playing as Sun Jian. You want to kill everybody, alright? Let no unit escape, because it's okay like this. Like if they just run into us, it's fine, because it's not like a braced unit. You're not gonna get dismounted. All right, let's try to get out of here. See that we hit that edge, and then we got dismounted. All right, this is problematic. Okay, so they have to charge these guys. See, you see what I mean? Just a small thing like that, right? We're now surrounded in a sea of infantry. That horse you can't mount again. It's disabled. So that's pretty bad. That's why we need our other units. And you see how easily that happened? We were going to charge at another group of another group of archers, and then we just brushed up against some braced units, and it caused that. But it does make great animations, because you can do execution moves when you're not on your horse. So the general fight a lot, cooler. This unit, we need to go charge that guy. We lost 3 units, that's fine. Now we just charge and kill everything. Keep chasing. Alright, good thing is Sun Jian's pretty strong, so we're fine. Oh, also, your general's defense against archers got nerfed a lot too, so be careful shooting at them like this. You might accidentally do a lot of damage to them. Have these guys charge at them. This fight's going pretty poorly as well, but it's okay. All of these doesn't really matter, because you don't care about your general's health. We're going to be recalling them at the end of this this fight. Go hack this guy for us. Alright, let's fight this. I don't want to kill my own guys. Alright, so yeah, that's the idea. We can cut this out. The rest of the fight, it's pretty obvious. We just rush them, charge them with our generals. Their morale goes down. We kill this guy. It's all good. It looks like we're losing this fight, but I think we'll come out ahead. Alright, we fought that pretty poorly, honestly. You could do a lot better than that. We had Huang Gai almost lose the duel. We had Pretty bad casualty, but you see, 15 heroism. We lost some units, but we still got 15, so close to perfect because we managed to chase down everybody. And then we'll take money. We don't really need to worry about replenishment. So we got this. We got higher morale, got some supplies. We want to take the town of Jiangling. Now, if you were able to fight this fight and take no casualties, you could attack this and demand a surrender. You can take this town and get a surrender if you don't have casualties. But in this case, we do have casualties. What we're going to do instead is we're going to delegate this fight. We will take medium damage. It's not pretty. You can fight it. It's doable. But it's a tough fight because it's a town, so there's lots of arrow towers. I recommend, honestly, delegate is probably the best course. You're just going to get a little bit of heroism here because the casualty difference is not as high because you're taking medium, right? Right, you lost 300 guy here. And let's see. That's still 13 heroism. That's not bad, right? So you got 28 heroism on turn 1. You capture the town, support of the people, great. Now you have this, your economy grows. Now if you watched our other Ma Teng early game playbook, you know this is the key. This is key to setting yourself up. And it's the key here for us too. Alright. So we captured this town. Everyone's injured, right? Except for these archers somehow. I don't know how that happened. And we're at tier 2. So now we get satisfaction boost. What we're going to do is we're going to disband everything. We've done this a lot with our Cao campaign. And there's many reasons for this. One, it will save us money. Make it easier for us to recall generals and redeploy them. And plus, units like mercenary infantry, they're designed to be used and disbanded, right? They come fully replenished, like we said. So it's better if you're not going to fight anyone to just take out these units. And then these guys are injured, right? All you gotta do is recall them, and next turn they're fully healed and ready to deploy anywhere on the map. Alright, so this is our setup in the beginning. This is pretty key here. We have Jiangling as a town, and we have Changsha as a town. Jiangling is a very good town. Why do I say that? It has a harbor building built in, and as we mentioned, if you take a look here, this version of the harbor building for Sun Jian's faction only has this 25% faction-wide boost to commerce. This is huge. This is a huge boost. And it has some food. 3 food is not bad. Flat commerce value is not bad. Right? This is great building structure. Obviously, if you have spice, perhaps you want to go for this one. But before that, this is amazing building. I wish every faction had this, but they don't. Another thing is, at the beginning when you get this, you start out with land development. That's 1 food. Harbor building, 2 food. So 3 food right here. That's all the food you have. Because you look down south, even though Changsha is a great commandery, the 3 counties are tea house, armorcraft, and trade port. No food here. The best and closest source of food is there is a rice paddy here in Lingling, and there's a livestock farm here in Wuling, and as well as a livestock farm here in Yuzhang. That's early sources of food, but they're all quite far. A lot of travel distance. So early game, this is your food source. Now, there used to be ways to play Sun Jian a little differently. Used to be you can fight this fight and fight this fight cleanly, use your generals, abuse your generals, which was easier before this patch. And then you could turn around, then that army is quite strong. That army composition, 4 axemen, 2 archers, 2 cavalry, turn around and attack Cai Mao, who, as you can see, is pretty pathetic early on, and it's in a very low level livestock farm. You could turn on them right away and wipe these guys out because the story mission dictates that Liu Biao will declare war on you if you don't give him the Jade Seal. So then all these guys declare war on you, and you guys are historical enemies with Cai Mao and Huangzu, so you get missions to kill Cai Mao and Huangzu. So you could just turn on them in the beginning. That's also what makes Jiangling very difficult to defend, because you're trying to build up in the south, but you have all these guys attacking you in the north. So our strategy is to slow down the enemy with Jiangling and use the new patch to use the defense garrison to the best of their capabilities to hold off against Cai Mao and Liu Biao, who's most likely to attack Jiangling. If Liu Biao comes down river, which happens about half the time, you're pretty screwed. His army's usually 3 full retinues. But if it's Cai Mao, you can beat Cai Mao. Cai Mao doesn't have enough force to beat Jiangling. Even after recruiting a few units to launch attack, you can hold off Jiangling against Cai Mao. So we'll keep the buildings. We'll try to hold this city down. And if you look at Changsha, you have level 2 mail posts here. We're going to build something. We're going to try to activate that mission. But we're not going to build it this turn, because what I want to build is a state workshop. And right now it's a 2-turn building at 1250. That's pretty expensive. We can reduce that cost by using Chenpu, which is another sentinel, to reduce the cost right here. We have another appointment. The reason why we had 2 is because Lady Wu starts out with nobility, and since we made her our heir, we get 1 extra assignment. And commanders have a huge change. Commander can now recruit special units from all different types. You can recruit spear guards. That's huge. Spear guards on commanders. Commanders also give formation if they're the leading general. So commanders can replace, I think, the use of champions, given that if both characters don't have reach, because you can never get reach on commander. That's a big bad thing going against them being your leading general, because you don't have that extra campaign movement range. But let's say you have a character that's a champion and a commander and you don't have reach on either. Commander might be the better choice, given that they have access to Jian Sword Guard cavalry, or just these mounted saber militia cavalry, which are very strong. They have very, very high range block chance, especially with this skill right here, extra 20%. So they're at 85 by default. So she's very strong. That's all basically we gotta know. And we're gonna put her on assignment as well. We're gonna put her on assignment here, because this is the only commander we have that has peasantry income. Has 70 here, so we're gonna use her ability to boost the income a little bit over there and gain a few levels as well. Lu Su we're going to keep around. You could have assigned him to do commerce here, because you have high commerce here, but we're going to use him to make an army with Sun Jian Huang Gai, as we want to expand south right away. We're going to wait a turn to build it, because we can complete it. Next turn will be cheaper and 1 turn, so it won't waste us any time. And at this point, you can just end turn, because you've done everything and your economy is doing great, right? You have so much money right there. So let's continue. All right, so this is turn 2. We got item. This is a good one. Plus 10 campaign movement range. Every time I see that, I get really happy. We want it on Lu Su, because it gives cunning, so he has more range. Lu Su has composure, which is very good. Night battle right away, fire arrow right away. He's modest. It's a lot of good traits. Very good. But he doesn't get along with your faction leader, which kind of sucks. Alright, a bunch of characters here. 2 vanguards, 2 sentinels. I don't think we need any of these guys. Yeah, none of these guys stand out. You're going to have a lot of unique characters come to join your faction. Once you get Sun Ce, you have access to Zhou Yu, who comes from an event. Zhou Tai, Lu Fan, all these semi-unique characters favor Wu. Usually tend to show up in your pool much more often. So you're not going to be short on characters. You can wait out for better ones. So this turn, we're going to build this. As we can see, it got cheaper and it doesn't waste us any time. And over here, we're not going to build anything, because we're going to activate that mission before we do it. And we're also hesitant to spend money investing in Jiangling, because there's a 50-50 chance you'll lose it. What you want to do here is recruit armies. You want to pop a new army out. Sun Jian, Huang Gai. And as we said, Lu Su doesn't get along with you, but we're going to pop in this army anyways. Now, these archers we don't need to keep. We don't need the archers. What this army can do now, being able to... They can't move, but we're going to grab the armor smith, just because it's close. And also safe. You can expand this way without worrying about these guys. Take the trade port. If you take the trade port, which is the most valuable of all your counties. I guess tea house is pretty valuable, but trade port's very nice. If you take the trade port, Huangzu will always launch attack against it. So it's better to be in the Han's hand than in your hand until you're ready to fight off their faction. So that's everything we need to do here. Let's go next turn. Alright, turn 3, we activated this mission. Very nice. Mission to recruit units. We don't need this right now. We got a foreman. That's quite nice as well. We also start with a builder. I forgot about that. That's right, we default a builder. So we have a bunch of good items for administrators already. And we can give this to him right now. A little bit of expertise never hurt. You know, melee evasion points. Should give him that as well. Yeah, this is pretty good. All we gotta do is march over here to Changsha. You'll take another turn. Roads down south, really poor. We're not recruiting any units yet because we can take Changsha without... There's no defense force here. There are a few commanderies that are completely undefended. Changsha Armor Smith is one. There's usually an army here. That guy will get there. And there's usually an army going to be waiting for you at the livestock farm. But Armor Smith usually not defended. Rice paddy not defended. Our goal is to acquire the rice paddy. That's our backup plan in case we lose Jiangling. Because we need the food to keep Changsha into a small city. That's our goal here. Our goal is to level up this to a small city. And right now we have the discount, so we're going to pop this right here. 2 turns, and then we have 1 turn left to boost it for another city upgrade, basically. We're basically going to use these 3 turns to upgrade Changsha into a small city. Jiangling, like I said, because I'm not sure if we can keep it right now, we're not going to upgrade anything here. There's alternatively another playstyle that I used to do. Is I will burn down this building. Demolishing this building give us money, 840. And then instead, what I would build here is a tax collector. I'll build it to level 2, which is the highest you can. That way you create a situation in Jiangling where you are giving it negative public order, so that once you lose it, right, let's say I lose it to Liu Biao, he's going to inherit a city that's going to be problematic for him. Constant rebellions. And then you can try to take it back from Yellow Turbans down the line. That's a playstyle, and also gives you a lot of peasantry income. And demolishing this building can still be a playstyle. If around summer of 191 is usually when the event mission kicks in. Sometimes it's summer, sometimes it's harvest season. But around then it kicks in, and you can demolish it right before then. Right? That way you get that money. But right now we'll take the peasantry income and food from this. It's not bad. And once we build that, that's it. That's all we're gonna do. We're gonna save up a nice fat treasury to build off our army. Our goal is to stall the enemy with Jiangling, and then defend in Changsha once they come. Once we beat them down here, we can negotiate a peace, and then just ignore them for the rest of the game as we expand in the south. And then you're pretty much through your early game. The only hard part about Sun Jian's early game is that you have 2 event triggers surrounding the Jade Seal that forces you to fight Liu Biao, Cai Mao, Huangzu. And then the second mission forces you to fight Yuan Shu. So it doesn't fight Yuan Shu, it just lowers your relationship by 80, which essentially sometimes make him declare war on you. And sometimes you have, if you keep this, if you manage to hold on to Jiangling, Dong Zhuo, all the way over here, this guy, just I don't understand how AI thinks, will send Lu Bu, right, best general, all the way down, walk, and show up and try to take this city. It's just really painful. So most of the time, I prefer to just lose this city. That way we don't have to worry about it. But anyways, let's continue. All right, they're asking you to pay this much money, 5,000 gold, basically, to get a non-aggression pack. And then a story mission completely wreck this non-aggression pack. So don't do this. Reject. All right, so this is spring. We have a new reform, but first we're going to take this armor workshop. See this? Close victory. Night battle, right? Close victory. You delegate. Don't fight it. There's no point to fight it. Delegate. Everyone's going to come out injured, and you're fine. because we're going to recall the generals. And because you don't lose any units and you kill all the units during delegate on garrison fight, you get maximum heroism. 13 points here because they only have 391 guys. But that's how you maintain your heroism, right? We occupy, and you look at your generals, right? They got a bunch of experience soloing these guys, and you also, everyone's injured. No problem. Recall them. Right? And next turn they can come on the battlefield, and then if you've seen our Let's Plays on Cao Cao, then you know the trick. There's a trick to keep your army moving forward. So what we do is we pick out a character, the best one here, right? Pick out the best one here that, oh, she's level 4, right? She's a little high level, high maintenance. She does have some default satisfaction boost to help that, but we don't need a level 4 character right now. He's level 1, but he's clumsy, not that great. Elusive, graceful, greedy, not that great. Li Kan, committed, arrogant, coordinated. So Wei Guo, some of these characters obviously going to be different every game, but you want to pick one that, you know, see, he looks pretty decent, right? He has strong armor piercing damage, patient, fatigue resistance. Yeah, this is not terrible. We're not going to make him administrator, so that doesn't really matter. We also saw his skill tree earlier here. Is this one right here with Final Rush. Not the best, but it's doable. The only bad thing about hiring Vanguard, though, is that their retinues is the most expensive. So if we want to pop them out on the field, it's going to cost us. So because of that consideration, now she looks more attractive. Right, she also has high expertise, so she can be a good administrator. You know what? It's okay. Actually, I'm gonna recruit her. She's level 4. We'll deal with it. Let's recruit. And what we're gonna do is summon her right here this turn. Make sure you summon the right place. All right, she costs 900, right, to pull out. Look at these guys. I mean, obviously 1,000 is recruitment cost, but Vanguards are just much more expensive with their cavalry unit. So that's why I didn't go for that. We're going to pop her out right here. We're going to delete her units because we're going to use her redeployment quite a bit. And what we're going to do with her is move her closer to the rice paddy because that's where we want to go next. Right? So she could go all the way here next turn. And then we can start out here. I'll show you guys. Let's see. We don't have to do anything here. We don't have to do anything here. We just got to pick a reformer and move on. The goal here in your first reform tree, you start out with this one right here. Commerce-based economy. Currency-based economy, but it gives commerce boost. We're going for Silk Road Expedition as our first reform. We're rushing it. We're rushing Onyx Dragons. They're just so good. So good. Right? Especially down south. You get a lot of trees. You get poor terrains. So a lot of trees means you can use fire arrows. You can abuse fire arrows. Extra range is going to help you win a lot of fights. Poor terrains make it harder on like the trees, make it harder on cavalry, make it harder on trebuchets. We're still going to use trebuchets. Those things are just broken. But Onyx Dragons, very, very important unit. Go for it right away. So which one do we take? Foreign Envoy or do we take Mercantile Regulation? Because that's the only two you can go take going towards there right now. We're going to take Mercantile Regulation first because it provides a flat commerce boost right now. Extra trade route, not useful for us. All these port buildings will be useful, but right now not useful because we don't have any port that's close to level 4. And the trade route, no one wants to trade with us. No one's going to trade with Sun Jian in the beginning. So don't worry about that. Take this one and then work your way through. Build a school building. Get that done. Get this reform ASAP. You can get it very fast. You start out with one reform. On turn 3, you get next one. Right? Every 5 turns, the future reform. So if you count it, it's 5 left. 25 turns. So on turn 28, you can get Onyx Dragons. That's very broken. And you have a very good economy down south. So you can support those guys. And you can beat the rest of the map. Sun Jian is super easy to play. That's it for this turn. Let's go to next turn. Alright, so like I said, around summer, this mission triggers right here. It's a challenge issued. Destroy the following factions: Huangzu and Cai Mao. You get small bonuses. 5-turn bonus is not that important. Here's the event mission that follows it. The Imperial Seal is getting you into trouble, and Liu Biao demands you to give the seal. So you can give up the seal, right? Liu Biao likes you, or you can follow the story right here. The story in this part is to don't give up the seal, right? You hold on to it to give it to Yuan Shu, which is historically what happens. But basically, you get declared war with Liu Biao. That's all. And Yuan Shu loves you for 80 points, and we're gonna do that because I love the seal. That item's broken, so let's keep it. All right, we're at war, and that's fine. We still have this building boost for a turn. It doesn't really do anything. Usually at this point you can demolish this. A, you don't need the food anymore, and B, it's free 840 gold. You can also rush it right now, because then you get 420 instead of 840. It's optional. All right, so why did we recruit her and pull her out? Because if you didn't watch our I got a water clock. That's cool. If you didn't watch our Cao Cao Let's Play, the trick that is, you move this unit right here. You recruit who you want to recruit. In this case, let's say Sun Jian's army and the Huang Gai. And if you look right now, the movement bar is halfway spent. But if we recall her, full bar. Full bar. Right? That also works if you're recruiting fresh from a location, but right now we only have 3 deployment spots per season, right? So this trick is not forever. It doesn't work because you can't recruit 4 generals, but if you can recruit 4 generals, right? You pop a general that you don't want, then you pop the 3 generals you want after them and recall the first general, and everyone behind them gets full movement point. See that? You reach Lingling next turn. Or else, what's the other option, right? If we didn't do that, we recruit them this turn at this location with no movement point, right? Because they're freshly summoned with no movement point. And then it's another 1, 2, perhaps 3 turns to Lingling. Now we get there next turn, right? That's broken. I think it needs to patch out of the game because I think it actually breaks the game because they're not supposed to get fresh movement when you get recruited. This is just a hack, I think. But let's abuse it while we can. We're going to try to get flexibility. It's a big redeployment. Redeployment is huge in the game, I think. People underestimate it when you first start playing the game, but redeployment is huge. You get free teleportation around the map. Once you get it to 100%, you can redeploy full retinues of generals, right, for free. Like what we're doing right now with 3 guys, we can do with full retinues. It's much more effective. Obviously, with full retinues, you have replenishment issues, but that's something you can overcome. It beats marching across the map. That's slow. And we set up that demolish here, and we're gonna upgrade this to a small city. And that's all we're gonna do with this economy growth. It's not a lot of buildings, but it's pretty good. You get it to a small city, and as you can see, rice paddy undefended. You can take this with just the general. So let's continue. We're gonna play till we have this fight right here, because that's a big turning point for your faction. Let's continue. Alright, so next turn, no enemy has showed up yet. Usually Cai Mao comes down this way and Liu Biao likes to sail down this way. It varies who gets here first. I prefer the Cai Mao version. Now here we're going to do the tax collection. So you can see we still have Lady Wu assigned here for peasantry. It's basically not providing any buffs at this point, but it's still fine because she's gaining experience and that's what we really want. Alternatively, you can put her there because she is going to be unhappy because of her high level. But she's only costing you 100 a turn salary, and she's going to help you deploy your units around quite nicely. So it's fine to have her. We got another item, trader, trade influence. Not useful, but why not, right? Extra cunning. Everyone has an item. Oh, we can give her this item just to keep her happier, a little bit happier. And if we can boost this from this tier right here to the next one, it's a huge jump in satisfaction, 10 extra points. So let's try to get there. Also, new characters. Wise. Oh, this is pretty good. We can use him to replace her. Low maintenance. This is a decent spy. Double spy traits, willing to spy, but has reach. Pretty good general, high level. We just don't have access to spy yet, but both are useful. So let's first attack this. Okay, guys. So as you can see here, it says close defeat, even though we have superior force this time, or evenly matched. Which is a little disappointing. Even if you turn on night battle, it's the same situation. So you can't delegate this fight. And the plus rice paddies are defensive structured fights, so we just starve out. Right? We force them to come out and fight us, and we can use our generals to kite carefully and destroy them. I like these generals, but I don't think we need to recruit them now. We can wait. They're not gonna disappear, and they're not like so good that we need to recruit them right away. We're just gonna wait for this battle to happen over here. Let's continue. Oh, this is really unfortunate. This Han Empire army appeared out of nowhere and is attacking our siege. Huh. Okay, there's no way we can beat them, so we're gonna have to retreat. This sucks. Alright, so things aren't going as smoothly as I planned. We got Cheng Gong. Okay, that's a unique character. Also, he has resourcefulness. This is huge. We want someone with resourcefulness early for that flaming trebuchet shot. So we're definitely recruiting him. Do we want him? Yeah, it's pretty good actually. Unbreakable. Dutiful as well. Interested in him. What's his skill? Okay, not that far from reach. Trempo leveled up. He is going to be... he's better off on the battlefield, but in the beginning it's probably going to be administrator just because he has the stats for it. So... let's go down the bottom first. We want to get Tenacious Steel. Okay, so we have a little setback here because this army came down from the south. These things vary. Sometimes they appear here, sometimes they appear here, sometimes they appear here. So what do? We could just fight it, honestly. Because he pulled back. So, you know, let's just fight it. That's not a bad solution. We just night battle this, and we fight this on the battlefield, basically. Alrighty, so we loaded up in this fight. Rice paddies are defensive fights. It's a big structure. Narrow hallway defended by 2 arrow towers at the entrance. Everywhere else is pretty easy, but because it's narrow, spear units can clog you down. And since you can't charge at them head on, you have to find another way through. The best way to do this, I think, because, you know, this doesn't happen every game, is to hide. Which you can't do because you have no access to trees. Well, actually, you do have access to trees. Okay, so once you hide, usually, in my experience, the deployed defense goes all the way back to wherever that flag is. That way you can have an opening to just run in. Or else if the spear unit's guarding the door, you can't run in. You're going to get killed. Am I right? I am right. Okay, they're all the way in the back. So now, we can just sneak in and take control of these structures. We can also sneak in through this forest so the arrow tower doesn't hit you until you come right here. So that's actually pretty decent. One thing to note, if you are stuck in this situation where you are forced to fight it, is that Lu Su here is level 1, not a unique model character. There is no resiliency on him. If he dies, you lose him forever. Don't let him die. Okay? Keep him safe. It's not worth the risk. Alright. All safe till here. They started seeing you, but they didn't fire yet because you're flickering between. You just go right here. Let's capture this. Alright. We can hurry this part up. Perfect. Alright, they're all the way in the back. Which is fine. Let's take this as well. It's not necessary, but might as well, right? In case we have to chase out a little bit later. Our goal here is to try to maneuver around them. I think we're gonna send. Well, Huang Gai over here is disciplined. I think he's unbreakable. No, he's not. He's not unbreakable, but he's disciplined. Sun Jian's unbreakable. Okay, so we're gonna keep Sun Jian alone. Sun Jian will go down this route. These two will go down this route. I'm splitting them off just because that's the only way we can get a flank on Spearman. If we run up together on this hallway and then we meet up spear units, we're screwed. We have to, go all the way like that. And then the whole purpose is to somehow loop back to the enemy at the back and take that flag away from them and pick them off slowly, basically. It's not a hard fight. Just gotta micro things. So I'm gonna cut out a lot of this stuff. See you at the, whenever things get exciting. All right, things got exciting right away as they ran into the enemy. So we're gonna pull back a little bit. All right, we see that they're coming towards us. They sense that we're inside. The flag is somewhere over here. We're gonna try to get to that flag, right? One of them is gonna get through pretty easily. All right, they have 4 units. 3 are here. 1 is in this corridor, I think. So we see everyone. All right, we're just gonna loop around. No need to clash with spear units heads on. There should be another. I think that maybe the 4th one's guarding it. That's right here. Okay, let's find it. That's all we want. We want access to that. All right, let's speed up back again. Right, this is a, we have night battles. It's minus 15 morale already. That's another 10 morale loss. So that's all big deal. 25 morale is a big deal. And then we pick off the archer units, hopefully, or pick off whoever gets stranded. If we see spear unit here, we just have to be very patient with them. Can't run into them head on. But pretty easy game. Perfect. No one's guarding this. All right. So it's 10 morale loss here for us holding it. Ooh, we can sandwich this unit. Perfect. Once Sun Jian captures it, yes. All right, we got this. All right, so they got lost. They're ready at 15 morale. Once we kill a few of these guys, the other morale will drop as well as more units die. So let's get closer. All right, we don't want a frontal charge, right? We saw what happened when we frontal charge. So we gotta pay very close attention to which way they're facing. We don't want to click on them because they could just turn and brace randomly. So they could run at you. That's fine. Alright, who's going? I hope they run at Sun Jian, honestly. Alright, this is good. This is not braced. Splash damage. Perfect. See, they're not braced. Now we can fully utilize our cavalry to our advantage. Immediately shattered because that roar from Huang Gai was going to shatter them too. Didn't even need that, actually. That 3 charge. So now we just kill it, right? We chase it down, kill it. They're trying to capture it back. That's fine. That means there's units here. And we try to just, find a corridor, wipe out units one by one, kill everything because, heroism. We need the heroism here. All right, let's pick them all off. All right, they're coming. What we're going to do is we're going to have them hide this side. Sun Jian hide this side. We need 2 sides. That's how you beat these spear units now. There might be more than one group that comes, though. That might be a little problematic. They might have to run around because we don't want to, fight too many things. All the cooldowns come back up. Ooh, also have Wisdom of the River. We should use that too. So that's all good stuff. Oh, there's archers shooting at us. Oh, perfect. They're by themselves. Kill the archers. We don't have to worry about these spear units. Yeah, this is not a hard fight, as you can see, you know. Just use all the abilities because you're gonna have the cooldown again once you fight those guys. I think actually once you kill this, I think their morale is gonna shatter pretty hard, especially if we retake this. Alright, we killed these guys. I wonder if they're gonna come together or split off. If they split off, it'd be great. Once again, we want to fight them from two sides. Slow it down a little bit. Yeah, see, this is hard, right? They're standing there. It's very hard to deal with. Alright, we want them to charge at us if we're only going to be able to face them from one direction. Alright, just stand right here. Let them charge at us. We'll take the charge. We don't want to get hit by the anti-large bonus. I mean, technically it doesn't even look like they're braced, but I just don't want to risk it. Alright, that just really doesn't look like they're braced. If they knock me off horseback with this, that's so broken. Good, they didn't. Alright, stump you. These three have great abilities to fight early units, fights like this. Alright, kill this. This morale is 31. This is the captain unit, so we might have to fight that one regardless. But we want to kill everything. You know, that's the goal here. Make sure we don't clash with them yet. We don't have the cooldown yet. Alright, we killed everything. Let's pull back here. They're not routing. Alright, we're waiting for ability cooldown basically. Not that bad. And then we'll fight them. Who owns it? We own it. That's good. They didn't take it back. Okay. He's ready. He's not ready. He's ready. Alright, let's go closer. Alright, we want to hold on to this. Alright, he's ready. Let's do it. Alright, same idea. Let them run into us. And then we can charge afterward. Just make sure they're not braced, right? They're stacked like this, don't charge. They're gonna get impatient. Just come up, chase us, hit us. You could get a charge from the rear. See, but they turn so quickly. Are they gonna hit them? Okay, alright, that's fine. That works. The whole idea is don't get bogged down. Don't get charging into these, you know, fully stacked. Alright, we got them. They're routing. We won. Chase them all. Kill them all. You want all the heroism point you can get at every fight. So yeah, clean fight. Very, very clean fight. Just be patient on these fights. Now we have rice patty. So now we have food. Alright, perfect. So that went pretty beautifully. I don't think I would have fought it any better pre-patch. The patch definitely make you more conscious of these spear units. So let's occupy. We've got to check how much food we get out of this. 2 food. That's enough actually. We can keep the upkeep low. 2 food is all you need for a large, small city, and that's all we want right now. But eventually we'll level this up. The good thing about Han Empires, they won't attack you back, so they're not going to challenge your territory. What's the deal here? Your army has low supply. That's fine, because we're going to boost supply back up. We leveled up Huang Gai. Huang Gai has a very standard vanguard tree. No special abilities, which is pretty disappointing. But we're probably going to go the top role. We want him to do a lot of the fighting for us. So let's take mobility here. We're just going to recall these guys because this is our goal. Our goal is to pick up Ling Ling. So we can recall the army now. Now we can start building up our army to prepare defending Changsha and eventually taking over all these neighboring commanderies. Alright, so let's talk about this, because I think we can almost end this episode, because the early game part is almost over. Our first dilemma is this fight right here, right? Like I said, sometimes it's Cai Mao, sometimes it's Liu Biao, sometimes it's both. So it's likely we're going to lose this city, because depending on, I think Liu Biao's turn happened before Cai Mao's turn in the order of the end turn phase. So they're going to attack us and they're going to reinforce. So this city's essentially lost. You could rush it and give them the tax collector building, or it's probably not going to happen. We can just cancel it, I guess. It doesn't cost us money. Let's just keep it. See, Liu Biao is coming with this giant army. This is a very strong army right here. No joke. So we got to prepare for that. How do we prepare for that? We can't recruit army. Oh, we could. We still have deployments. So we recruited Chen Gong, right? He's key here. He's going to be our defense force with trebuchets. He's very important. He has an issue though. I mean, obviously you're gonna have different generals. If you see a strategist with resourcefulness, pick him. Doesn't matter the trait. You want him for the flaming shot on the trebuchets. We're gonna steal all of Lu Su's items because we need to get him more cunning. This book, perfect, and this sword for better fighting. Okay. So he's good here. We're gonna swap. We don't need to swap units actually. Sun Jian has this. Yeah, we can recruit new ones. Let's swap. It'd be faster in terms of getting them fully replenished, I think. You get, because you take over the base value. I don't know, might not work that way. And we can recruit a few archers as well, or crossbowmen. 13 ammo versus 19 ammo, extra range though, and we don't have fire shot on this guy. No composure, so maybe crossbow units. 13 ammo is enough right now. Let's do 2 crossbow and 2 archers for future fire. We're going to switch these to archers. Right now they're just militia. And I actually want Lady Wu to come back. Well, she will come back once we lose the city. And then we can use her as defense force here. Because remember, she has the seal, which boosts morale when defending. She also has access to spear guards, which is excellent defending force. So we're going to save her for that role. And then we're probably going to add in Sun Jian, just because he has all the good items. And we're going to recruit some units for him as well. You have the option, if once you have money, right, we have tons of money, we can pop out some of these mercenary units, and they'll be ready to go right away. So that's how you want to deal with the invading army. Liu Biao will come all the way down. Just fight him around your outer edges of your city, crush him. Right, you have the city garrison, you have trebuchets, very standard fight. Trebuchet versus army without trebuchet, you know how that goes. So I think that's it. We're going to lose the town, obviously, to the fight, so we don't need to show that. And then going forward is Liu Biao will come, you crush them. After you crush this army, you can sue for peace. And then you're going to have an event mission with Yuan Shu. So you can, if you lose everything up the north of the river, the enemy will only attack you from this part right here. So you just got to defend here. This army that you build up here, you can start invading the south. You definitely want T, right? Let's see, if you look at the map here, you want T here from the, let's get it right here. So you see T here, you want this T, and then you want to secure a couple more food sources. Perhaps you want this livestock farm. It's a little out of the way. Preferably, most players go this way, right? Because Jianye and Puyang are all very good commanderies. Right, we have the armor smith here. There's a weaponsmith here in Puyang. And the other good thing is these are all Han Empire, so they're all occupied. Notice this black part right here. These are unclaimed territory. Each small settlement, the counties, are 4,000 gold to take over. And the large cities, the settlements, If it's empty, it's 8,000 gold. It's pricey. So I don't recommend you going for these in the early game. It's better to go for Han because you also can fight these battles where you take 0 casualty. You can level up your army. You can build heroism to make it cheaper for you to recruit future armies, right? You take your first army, take over, let's say, the trade port, go over here to Puyang, go all the way down over here to Jianye. Now, Cao Cao usually beats you to Xindu right here. You want to find a way to get this back, right? You can trade him, right? You can go north, take over, like, say, Lujiang's territory, and just trade him for this, right? You want to have a nice continuous south with big borders. Or you can have Cao Cao come in and take over some commanderies and let him spend his money to take over some of these empty commanderies, so you don't have to spend so much money. But you're going to have tons of money as Sun Jian, so don't worry about that. So going forward, your goal is to just unite the South, build up your economy, build up your heroism as you take over Han Empire when it's cheap, pop out a few nice armies, as you're going to get tons of new generals. Your son's going to come of age, right? You're going to get event missions to get unique generals like Zhou Yu. A lot of generals who favor your faction will come, like Gan Ning will come. He's great. He has the arrow ability like Tai Shi Ci. You have a bunch of cool generals when playing Wu, and they're going to help you in the mid to late game. And right now, that's all we're going to show you for this early game playbook. Very simple. You just want to build up a food supply down south, save money in the early game, get Changsha into a city. Purpose of getting into a city obviously is to build the private workshop, and then upgrade these buildings. Don't have to upgrade this one yet because you don't have access to tea yet, but we will have that very soon. Beat back Liu Biao's first army with a trebuchet-led force, and sue for peace, and then you're all set going forward, right? Everything else is easy. Take over Han Empire, unite the South, turn on the North, and win the game. Have fun when you play it. See you next time. Bye.